amount of work they put in to make this morning such a success. And now we are very, very privileged to hear some words of Torah from Debbie Feinberg.
Thank you, Rabbi. This past Wednesday morning, I attended the second grade Chumash celebration at Golda Ak Academy. My 7-year-old granddaughter, Talia, is a second grader at Golda Ak and a frequent visitor to TBS. As at all Jewish milestone events, there were a few words of Torah delivered on that day by Rabbi Nevins, head of school. And not surprisingly, he spoke about the Parsha of the week, Mishpatim. Not only that, but Rabbi Nevins chose the exact same words of the Parsha that I had chosen on which to focus, Na'aseh v'nishma. While I am neither as learned nor as eloquent as Rabbi Nevins or Rabbi Cohn, I will do my best. In last week's Parsha, Yitro, Moses first gathered the elders of Israel and told them that if they were ready to obey God faithfully and keep his covenant, God was ready to make Israel my treasured possession among all the peoples. And the elders responded, Na'aseh. We will do it. All that the Lord has spoken, we will do. Later in Yitro, in a scene which many of us recall from the movie Exodus, inspired by the actual words of the Torah, God delivers the 10 Commandments to all the people of Israel, and again, they pledge to do all that God has asked. At this point, one might be tempted to say, Dayenu, enough. God has spoken, and the people have accepted his commandments. But this is our Torah, this is our story, and there is definitely more to our story than we will follow the 10 Commandments. And so we transition this week to Mishpatim, in which Moses conveys to the people what God has conveyed to him, the laws of the Book of the Covenant, the laws of the Torah. These laws touch all aspects of our lives and introduce a revolutionary concept that our individual and collective actions, as well as our relationships to each other, are part and parcel of our relationship to God. The laws of Mishpatim deal with a wide range of civil and criminal matters, treatment of women, slaves, and the stranger, issues of social justice, and warnings about assimilation. In the Parsha, we also find the details of the rituals associated with Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot. Toward the end of the Parsha, after having heard all these laws, the people respond once again to Moses. This time they say, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will understand. Why did they add v'nishma? What is the significance of v'nishma in this context? Biblical scholars have been discussing this for centuries. I will only take a few moments more of your time. My first reaction to this was that I would want to understand why I am being asked to do something before I committed to doing it, particularly when I am being given a list of many, many mitzvot. Yet this is not what the people say. They will do, na'aseh, and they will understand, v'nishma. The act of commitment, the doing, is the first act of faith. The understanding follows. I struggled with this as I studied the Parsha, but I always struggle when I read Torah. When I met with Rabbi Cohn, he offered me some insight with an analogy to music. One really can't understand the music of Beethoven, he said, before doing the listening. That resonated. What is doing in the context of our faith here in the United States? Being here together on Sisterhood Shabbat is doing. Sending our children to Hebrew school, coming together in support of Israel, sending Mishlach Manot through Sisterhood, learning with our rabbi, comforting the bereaved. These are all doing. And it is in doing all these things that we begin to understand the power of our faith, to appreciate and expand its role in our lives. It is through doing all of this that we build and sustain relationships with each other, with our greater community, and that we experience the power of our faith. As we gather today in the peaceful embrace of our TBS community, we also think of our sisters, our brothers, our families, friends, and our fellow Jews in Israel. What does naaseh, what does doing, look like in Israel today? This week I learned what Iris Chaim, mother of one of the 3 hostages tragically killed on December 15th by the IDF, did when she received a troubling call from a dear friend. Iris was sitting shiva for her son. Her friend told her that the soldiers in the brigade responsible for the death of her son were frozen in time, unable to bear the burden of what they had done, and that many other soldiers were feeling the same. They were questioning the doing and were losing their faith. The next morning, Iris Chaim called one of the soldiers and told him that neither she nor anyone in her family, including her son, would ever blame him or any IDF soldier for what had happened. She invited the soldiers, the entire brigade, to visit with her, and they did, individually and in small groups, and she comforted them and continues to do so. When asked how she could do this, she responded that they were all part of the same community, sharing the same hopes and dreams, and that she had faith that her son had not died in vain. We can wonder which came first for Iris Chaim, the naaseh or the nishma, but it is clear that only through her deeds, consoling those who killed her son, did she help others regain their understanding, their faith, and their resolve. Today is our example of naaseh v'nishma by the women of Temple Beth Shalom. We hope that the actions of doing will continue to lead us all to a deeper understanding of the beauty and power of our faith for generations to come. Thank you. That's that.